Oh, good morning. Here is the daily market analysis. I decided I was going to start doing this. Tezos at 369. Nice. Let me turn this down a bit. So what's going on with the markets? Yeah. I'm going to start with today. So this is, if you look on the bottom here, here's different time frames, right? This is very important to pay attention to because they kind of, making money is all about like, when did you get in? And, did you get in at the peak or did you get in at the bottom? A lot of people are saying that we're at the bottom right now, but yeah, let's take a closer look. And a lot of people, I guess, I don't know why, but apparently looking at charts like these is kind of unusual. Most people just like look at one thing, right? And they're like, Bitcoin price. And then, they just like, oh my God, it's going up. Oh my God, it's going down, and then it's up, and then 1 month up and down, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, cause this is just like a trend in an isolated. This is like just a line in a vacuum, right? I like to do comparative analysis. Maybe that's the word. So I have all of these. These are mostly crypto coins, and I kind of pay very close attention to all of them. But I also keep in tabs on like things like oil. That's this thing that happened this week. Gold, silver, and then the stock market's also in there too. So, there's not really much to say about this week aside from the fact that oil went up, right? And you can draw your conclusions from that. Obviously, it's related to the war, right? But since we're looking mostly at crypto, I've been finding the 3-month chart the most useful because if you go all the way back, let's say like a year, right? I feel like, and this is the part where it becomes subjective, is that I feel like starting this year, the mood of the crypto ecosystem has changed like quite significantly, right? I'm seeing a lot less shill posts because we had kind of a downward pressure for so long. A lot of people are dropping out. Yeah, and then I see a lot of posts, like pretty depressing posts where it's just like, crypto is over, But that happens every cycle, and the landscape has gotten a lot more quieter in the last few months. And I believe it started around the beginning of this year, right? Which is like 3 months ago. So that's kind of my reference point whenever I make any like sort of point or arguments about like what I think things are going, So these days, the markets are so volatile in like pretty much everything. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on, right? Gold. So gold and silver this year still doing well, right? 20 plus 24. Oil is up 50%. It was even more before. This is nuts, right? It was almost like 100%. But it kind of corrected itself a bit. Silver, so the precious metals people have been like talking a lot because they feel like kind of vindicated, right? Even if it's not as high as it used to be, they're still like, told you so. Stock markets are actually they're kind of flat, so they haven't really gotten anywhere, and so you don't really hear too much about people talking about stocks, at least as a whole, right? You can talk about like AI stuff. If you didn't know, so for like Wall Street stuff, it's important to know more than half of trades are automated now. More than half. So there's no human involved. It just runs according to algorithm. And the other part is that AI stock growth is keeping up Wall Street like 80%. So if the AI bubble pops, I think it's more of a when than an if, but if it pops, this could go crazy, you know, it's probably going to dip. And my prediction is that stocks are probably going to join the rest of us, you know, in negative gains hell in crypto, you know. I really do think stocks are overpriced, and really the reality of the markets is actually closer to what crypto is right now. Like crypto is ahead of its time, even in the shitty things. So, yeah. But okay, let's talk about crypto. So, okay, see, the one good thing, and you may have noticed this, is that this XU308 USD, what is that? That is uranium.io. And if you're in Tezos, you know about this because XU. This is the owning physical uranium RWA, real world assets, right? So Tezos is the only place where you can own like physical uranium, or at least token shares of it. So this is very unique. This only exists on this platform. But see, the one good thing that Tezos has going for it is that it's doing well. Everything else is minus 20% or more, but this token itself is doing well. And I know a few people in Tezos who have invested in that, and they're doing okay with this, you know. So this is like worth talking about, you know, especially if you're like talking to like finance people who only cares about price action, right? Like you can point to this and be like, hey, wow. And it's powered by Tezos. Tezos itself is not doing great, but it's doing relatively less bad than everyone else, you know, at least starting this year, right? So yeah, you know, the race changes, you know, depending on, you know, what time frame you use, but overall, if you're like looking at this year as some kind of change happened, like we're not doing that bad. Especially since Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash does not have any staking rewards, right? Bitcoin has no mechanism for that. So the crypto assets that are doing this well, doing the best this year, I'm not saying good, they're not doing good, they're doing better, is actually Tezos and Cosmos. And I won't really get into this, but Cosmos has like their main benefit for owning Cosmos is that they have a very, very high staking rewards. So include staking rewards, 9%. This Cosmos is like 13, 12, I don't know. It's very high. It's kind of, I don't know how they maintain it, but that's what it is. And, you know, if you include like our staking rewards, Tezos is probably doing better than Bitcoin right now, honestly, right? It's only a 3% difference. And if you hold it for longer than 6 months or 9 months or whatever, you're doing better. And then, of course, there's everything else down here, which is like not doing great. And that's why when you, you know, look at Brian Armstrong's tweets and whatnot, it's just like, you know, it's just like you can tell they're panicking, right? They're just like, oh yeah, Coinbase recently started offering stocks because, you know, oh no, stocks is not doing that great either, but it's like, well, it's doing better than us, so yeah. So it's just like a rough time for the markets, you know, and you can kind of see it in the tone of like how they talk about it as well. So yeah, that's kind of it. So I'm gonna making these little short videos, just doing analysis. I used to do this a lot, actually. I used to post these videos on TradingView. Maybe I should start doing that again. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this is live stream, by the way, so I just do everything live and then I create clips later. I used to do, I wonder if it's still here. Settings, ideas, yeah, ideas. Remember, see all these? I used to do a lot. 2024, that's like a trillion years ago. 2023, some of them did really well. I got editor's pick. Oh yeah, this one, not bad, 155, but maybe I'll upload again and see what happens. But anyway, where does it go from here, right? So are we at the bottom? Are we at the rock bottom of crypto and, you know, finally ready to recover? Well, it depends. It's kind of, there's still, like I said, there's a lot less noise in the markets right now. I think a lot of people dropped out because they got demoralized, right, from just this for too long. And, you know, the news, the reason why Bitcoin Cash is doing better is because they, after the news that Jeffrey Epstein might have been involved in the development of Bitcoin, that took a tank, you know, that was like just another hit, right, that the Bitcoin people didn't need. And then, but Bitcoin Cash is like, ha, we told you, we're the real Bitcoin. We didn't have, you know, they're the ones that forked off into a separate project because, you know, they wanted to develop Bitcoin in basically the argument was that they needed bigger block sizes to bring down gas fees or transaction fees. And, you know, for what it's worth, they have been working on it, like, in good faith for a while. I don't know about now, but the counter argument to that is that, well, it's still based on Bitcoin, and, you know, is it good enough? It's like increasing the block size good enough? Seems pretty like a band-aid solution, right, to a lot of people. So, but it is better, and probably it's true that a lot of Bitcoin people converted. So that's why it's neck and neck now. But for me personally, I'm waiting for MicroStrategy to shut down, because that's just like an egregious example of like fiat money. It basically, MicroStrategy is someone borrowing money from Wall Street to buy Bitcoin. That's it. That's all the whole company is. They don't do anything else. And that's why they have like Michael Saylor just going around just saying a bunch of nonsense and then trying to get people in, right? And it's clearly a Ponzi. If you want to own Bitcoin, just buy Bitcoin, man. Just buy Bitcoin and put it in your wallet, and that's all you have to do. But he's not doing that. He's like trying to get fiat money and then using that as a, yeah, I don't know. And there's like no reason for the company to exist, like on any level. So, and you know, Michael Saylor is a known fraud. He ripped a lot of people off during the .com boom, and this company collapsed. And this is just another, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this sometimes, you know, like, and people just willingly give him money just because he's on the news. But anyway, if you get, I feel like if MicroStrategy goes under, and unless Bitcoin doubles in price like overnight, he is screwed, like so screwed. So I think a lot of people are waiting for it because it's just like kind of an obvious signal, right? So, but I think we're pretty close to the bottom-ish, you know? Like, it's kind of hard to, well, I'll never say never, but it is kind of bottoming out, and not just in price, but also in the way people talk about it. So that's the big difference that happened starting this year. Okay, well, that's enough. I think that's enough finance stuff for today, and yeah, make a clip of this and see where it goes. So, all right, have a good one, and see you next time. All right. I got it. Oh, shit, I gotta do that in the beginning because close this. What's going on here? It didn't turn out as good as I thought it would. Hmm. Bot farm. That would be interesting. Man, they really corporatize this whole thing, huh? Not now, no. Threads. What is that? Twitch? Pro? No, you need Pro? I knew it. Profile settings. Hmm. Well, if I'm gonna do it, I should probably make one. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Yeah, I need to make a video, but that music's too busy.
I mean, y'all already know what's up. Y'all know I'm the baddest. It's not even a question. So I'ma just give it to y'all like this.
Talk is cheap. There we go. That's exactly what I need. Hello everyone, this is Ryan from Teia and teia.cafe. This is some nice piano music from Robert Monroe called Talk is Cheap, which is just kind of funny because that's what I'll be doing over the next few minutes. But I also have some visuals. I'm just going to be doing a few updates on the Teia ecosystem. So we are pushing a few new changes, but in just of today, we have pushed. Fuck. No. Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Teia and teia.cafe. I'm going to be doing an update on some of the changes that have been pushed into the teia.art, our main website of the community. So that was Robert Monroe, nice piano music. There's a few of them like minted on Teia and Hikenunk from the Hikenunk days. So yeah, it's called Talk is Cheap, which is kind of funny because that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few minutes. But I just wanted to do a quick update on the features, and we were doing a lot. And so I'm going to kind of go through a lot of them quickly, but I do have like other posts or other videos talking about them more in detail. I just thought it'd be nice to do a little overview of like all the things that's been going on, you know? So this is the first thing that we did. As you know, we have a blogging system on Teia now. So this uses the text markdown format. So it's basically the same contract as any other art style or medium, So it's just a little bit different. It's a different type of text format. So that's why we're calling it text. A lot of people didn't like the word blog, but really it's a blog. Functionally it functions like a blog, but it will also display text files. So it's a good example. A lot of these newer ones are the blogging feature, but we also do text mints, right? So this is a good example. This is text.art, right? It has kind of its own thing, and it's a text plain, but it's also, yeah. So just a few things. So it should function like a regular blog, except that it's on chain, and that's kind of cool. There's also a bulletin, and this is for multi-sig members. So as you know, there's a core team of people here in Teia that runs the multi-sig contract, and we do budgeting and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of like, if this was a company, this would be the board of a nonprofit. Like, that's the equivalent of the traditional organization. So if they have something like official they want to post, they're really like, oh, here's some updates, and we're going to be doing this. We probably post about Teia sponsored events, which is coming soon as well. So yeah, so that will be here, and this one will be blended into the community one, but if you're looking for official posts. And so we're creating an admin layer to the whole site as well. So yeah, it's going to be a big infrastructure overhaul. Okay, and then this is the actual thing. It should be pretty similar to any other mint. Here's some disclaimers you can read about. But the one interesting thing is that here, say, when you're writing I like dogs. You're like, would it be nice to have a dog picture here? Doggo here. This is an art site, so the interpretation of dog is pretty liberal. So here's a nice dog picture, and I like dogs like this. But you can like embed images. You can also embed audio. Whoops. Let's just do Stereo Hopper. Rest in peace. Oops. Let's do, I don't know, music. Let's do my music. I don't know, it's a little weird, but it can also embed audio, and you can also embed video. And the nice thing about this is that it keeps all the metadata here, right? So this gives proper attribution to the artist that you borrowed from. And in the future, we're going to be updating our swapping contract to include things like royalty splits, attribution. Eventually, we'll probably get into using L2s to do like more advanced things like tracking, right? Like play tracking. And so this is just the beginning for a lot of stuff that's going to be built over the next couple months. And so, yeah, keep an eye on that. This is kind of the foundation of everything. This first, we can use this for blogs, but in the future, we can use this for other things too, like videos, video games, right? Because a lot of the artworks that we experience is like not just one artwork, but it's multiple artworks working together, right? So this is sort of like the framework for getting there. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so then the other part is the copyright marketplace. So this is live, which is why I'm talking about it. Everything here is already live. So we added a copyright marketplace here. And if you know about our work with teia.cafe, we've been working on this for a while, over a year. And so here you can actually, artists can register their works and then give licensing rights based on people who own NFTs. So if you buy an NFT and you own it, yeah, you can. Is this working? Yeah. So it generates an agreement for you, and then lets you kind of like, say for example, this artwork here, you have the rights to reproduce. So if you buy this NFT, oh, it's not for sale. That's why. Okay. Yeah, no, these are just tests. So they're actually I know Scott. So he's been testing it for us. So if it was for sale, and this is kind of interesting too, right? Because this is part of it too. Like, hey, this gives control to the artist whether what you can or cannot do as an NFT owner. And if he chooses not to sell, then that's his right too, right? So this gives complete control over the artist. It gives control over the artist to determine like what you can or cannot do with this thing. Now, so this is the marketplace, and this is the registration part. So it gets a little complicated. So if you want to know more about it, check other posts or other videos I made on this. But it has all the options here. You can also register multiple works here. Has a similar search. Let's see. I have to go to my thing. Because you can only register your own works, right? Which makes sense, right? You cannot register someone else's work, and it checks on your wallet address to see if it's legit. So yeah. So this is the thing. This is just like a text post. And like, okay, well, I wrote this long thing over here, and I'm like, well, if I want to copyright this, or say I want to give rights to the magazine or newspaper, basically giving them permission to reproduce this right on their end. You can just like, okay, yeah. Right to reproduce, right to broadcast, I don't know, maybe they want to read it out loud on the radio. Maybe. So it's whatever you want, and you just add it. And then when you add it, it adds it to this agreement. So it's a lot of legalese and a lot of like information, but this is very important because it keeps track of what the artist has done, right? With the artist's intentions. So word of this as a disclaimer is, and I have to say this, but I've talked to people who are looking for a legal framework around this. Currently, it doesn't really exist. There have been a couple of attempts to create one, but it's all done through private companies, so it's not standardized. And the courts, since this is such a new idea, the courts hasn't really come up with a standard how to handle these situations. So just FYI, you have to think of these agreements as between you and your collector directly, right? It's just like, this happens all the time too. It's not under the table, but it is a drafted contract between you and your client or you and your collector or however you want to think of it, right? But it is still a legitimate form of documentation. So if something happens, you could take this to court because, you know, it's a signed paper between two people. And, you know, so it's kind of designed to be that way. It's very hard to standardize this just because the laws are very, very different according to like location and context, and a lot of the rules actually like contradict themselves, which doesn't help, right? So that's why most of these cases, even in copyright, are actually done on case by case, even with standards. So I try to like tell people that. Some people don't seem to be comfortable with the fact that, oh, these rules are just kind of there, you know, but yeah, so even in real world, even in like traditional situations, like most of these cases are handled case to case. So, and it's not going to be that much different even with this. You know, that's my argument for it. But in any case, if the you know, the legal system catches up and eventually like, oh, here's this NFT licensing standard that everyone is using, or at least a group of people are using, we can just like port it in here, and you know, so that's the plan. But for now, it works for what it is. So yeah, just go check it out. And I think that's it for now. We'll be doing a lot of updating in the admin side, like I mentioned earlier, because we're adding, you know, an administrative layer to the whole site. There'll be admins, there'll also be moderators, and it's all controlled by this multi-sig. And you notice this is on a separate site. We're actually porting this into the main site as well over the next couple months. So keep an eye on that. All right, so I think that's it for now. But yeah, if you want to check on the messaging system, that's on a different video. But yeah, that looks pretty promising as well. So, okay, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, take care. Milestone 1. 50, 50, 100.
Sitting on deuces while the blunt burn. Still raping rap music cause I want more. All money in, it's just us four. It's just copy, it's just Harvey, it's just Ripper. It's just Adam, it's just Black Sam and both the facts. Where your 600 bands, where your rovers at? Where your Cuban links, nigga, where your rollies at? Where your big booty bad bitches stay with posters at? Where you hustle, where you run from the police at? Where you have to represent and hope where the hopeless at? Where you had to take an oath for you sold the sack? Dealt with all the pressure, played it like you never noticed that. Amongst it all, put yourself on the map. Turn it to the booming operation, where your focus at? Where your 600 bands, where your rovers at? Where your Cuban leg, nigga, where your rollie at? I would rather shoot before I run. Pressure on my shoulder when it's done. You should try and do what we done. Make $1 million while you young. I would rather shoot before I run. Pressure on my shoulder when it's done. You should try and do what we done. Make $1 million while you young. I can tell you niggas how I came up. Similar to climbing out the grave, huh? Can't be acting like a bitch trying to get saved, bruh. Get that dirt up off your shoulders, step your game up. Can't be chasing pussy, switch your ways up. Can't be fucking off your loot, you gotta save up. See, you gon' probably fail trying to play us. Streets ain't for everybody, get your braids up. Ain't about your money, you just looking for a stage, huh? And all that stunning put a bullet in your brain, huh? Stupid ass nigga, you can't fade us. Niggas like, who even raised cuz? Where you come from? Where you get your name from? You was in the house, not with the runaway slaves, huh? You was never in the spot when they raid, huh? You ain't really about it, little nigga, this a phase, huh?
And
All of this is just accumulation of what I learned. I didn't have no opinion until I started working with music and trash. And what I like, music is spiritual. Anybody that fuck with music long enough, you know, if you don't cloud yourself and you don't like miss it, you're gonna realize it's spiritual. You can miss it though. You know what I mean? But if you tune and present enough, you know, vibration is just the word. If you read the Bible, it was the word. That's the first thing that the Bible says. You know what I mean? So the power of the word is intense, it's real. So to try to make music and separate it from a spiritual thing, I don't think it's possible. I don't even think that, you know, the actual act of music. Think about this. You're going somewhere mentally and you're bringing something back that people that aren't where you just went can hear in the place that you both are. Like you go somewhere and you go pull a lyric up. Where is it at? Where does it exist? You know what I'm saying? And you say it and it's your voice. And now everybody can hear it. So that's, what is that? But it was a truth that existed in everybody's space. You just really like brought it down to
Nós somos um povo de nordestinos, a nossa cultura é a macumba, não é a ópera, de forma que vamos lá, vamos descobrir o Brasil. Esse é o raio-x do Brasil.
Decent. But Facebook is the most popular social media platform, really. Oh yeah, I need to reset the stream.